So, the votes were cast, and it ended up on an overwhelming decision of this swarm of heartless bastards that you all are to let Callum explain. So, such action will be taken. Let's not get too excited here. We're all supposed to be friends. Callum, do you want to explain what in the world you're talking about? You would think, with the years I've spent planning for this moment, I would have a better idea of what to say. This isn't how I meant it to turn out. Your prince is right. I did attack him in the garden, but only him. I would never have hurt Cass. I just wanted to talk to him alone. Him. If you wanted to talk to Oscar alone, why did you make me go out with you? You really don't remember anything, do you? What? I'm confused. Wait, hold on. I'm trying to understand. So, Callum, you're saying that this is your brother Caspian? Yes. I am not. You took her, or him, from the dance last night because you wanted to talk to her? Yes. Then how did Dolores get involved with this? That's a good fucking question. I left Cass in my rooms alone while I waited for the fuss to die down. That thieving page must have somehow found him there and decided to grasp the advantage. I should have never left you alone. What? You're sorry that someone else kidnapped the princess after you had properly kidnapped her yourself? You may have found some crumb of courage, but you are still a fool. I was willing to risk anything for my goal except Cass's safety. What goal? Saving my little brother, who was stolen from me all those years ago. I'm very sorry, but you're delusional. I'm not Caspian. Prince Caspian died when I was a baby. Is this going to be the point where he actually, like a Scooby-Doo character, Callum just goes up to him and goes, aha! And takes the mask off. That's what everyone believes. That doesn't mean it's the truth. I assume there's a story behind this. Why are you listening to anything he says? He lied to us, he attacked us, he forced you... I'm listening to him because I want to understand what's going on. Wisdom before judgment. In whose wisdom do you think you are? What? No, she's right. We should talk about this calmly. Thank you. Oscar, shut up. Once we all understand what we're thinking and feeling, then we can come to a solution that benefits everyone. But, if you please, I'd like to sit down. Of course, you should rest. He gallantly sweeps a patch of grass. Grass? What the fuck am I on about? Grass! Free of twigs and beetles. You're very kind. Oh, fucking hell. They're flirting even in the midst of danger. Once they've settled themselves, Callum begins his tale. Cass was my little brother and the closest person to me in the world. All of our other siblings were much older, men in the making. In the meanwhile, our royal parents seemed to have little interest in their youngest offspring. I know now why it was, but at the time it never occurred to me to question it. My life was the nursery, my toys, my minders, and my baby brother, who trusted me in everything. Then they came and took Cass away. They said he was ill, that he was coming down with the plague and had to be quarantined with special nurses. I never saw him again. It was half a year later that they told me he was dead. And then let me guess, Prince Cassidy. They didn't give him a sex change back then, did they? Oh god. But if he was ill, and we were always together, why was I fine? If he had to be confined, why not me? That's it? That's your reason for believing that Cassidy is Caspian? Of course not. At the time, that was my reason for believing that life was unfair, and would always be so. I wasn't interested in my new little sister, so I didn't want a replacement for Cass, so I didn't think about the princess. But that baby grew older, and still she never came to the nursery. Years, and I never saw her once. Sometimes I wondered if I were the one with the plague, who had to be kept away from the siblings. But then I was old enough that my parents were forced to give me my own rooms of full-time tutors. Forced, And once you were gone, then they took the nursery for the princess? I suppose. I didn't much care. I was used to it by then, being shoved aside, out of the way, ignored. Oh, God. And I thought the other guy was an emo. It's definitely you. It wasn't until a public event when Cassidy was about 5 years old I finally laid eyes on the princess. And that was Caspian, older, too older for 5 years, and wearing a dress, but I knew his face. She is your sister. It's not that strange she might look a little bit like Caspian. Not similar in some way. The same face. Look at me. Do I have the same face as Cass does? Well, no. No one else saw it. No one else knew him like I did. I didn't even question why he was there. All I knew was that my brother was alive. I ran up to him, calling his name. That was when my father hit me. What a bastard. I remember that. That boy, that was you? They told me he was a thief who snuck in, and that he might have carried the pox. That was why they beat him. Ah, so what he says might be true if his parents are lying. Yes, you would remember the beating. Your father beat you? No, he had the guards take me away and teach me a lesson, once only. That I was wrong, and a fool, and a disgrace, and that I was never to go near Cassidy again. I had no idea. I'm so sorry. You have no need to be sorry. You didn't cause it. You wanted to see your brothers, remember? He turns back to Callum. Your parents treated you unfairly, that's clear, but it proves nothing. You made wild accusations in public, and they did not want the scandal. Oscar, shut up. You're wrong. Well, I say you're wrong. I know what I'm going to believe. Considering what it's led to now, it seems they were correct that you would bring them grief. Caspian and Cassidy are different people. Cassidy was born before Caspian died. It's public record. Yes, and for so long I couldn't understand it. I almost started to believe that I was wrong. Then it all became clear. What, did a fairy come down from heaven and tell you? Caspian and I were nothing to them. The infant Cassidy was the heir my parents had been longing for. I think that baby died, and my wise mother could bear no more children. There could be no further princess, and so I believe they chose to switch Cassidy for Caspian, and raise him as the heir of Gwelinor. They've done it so well that he doesn't even remember who he really is. Cass, they kept you isolated, so that no one would break the illusion, so that I can tell you the truth. Everyone I've done was to get to you out of their clutches so that you could be free. They stole your life. I'm here to give it back. But there's one obvious problem with this whole story. Caspian was a boy, Cassidy is a girl. First ever sex change. Don't question it, Madeline. You are, aren't you? Of course I am. You can't simply put a dress on a boy and call him a girl. It wouldn't work. Bind a living thing tightly enough and his growth can be stunted. He looks at his sister and his voice takes on a hesitant tone. They've kept you so isolated. I have to ask, do you know what is different between a man and a woman? I did just think that myself. Men explore and conquer. Women nurture and defend. So no. Not what I meant. What I think he's trying to say is that men's bodies are different from women's bodies. Yes, that's why women wear gowns. That's true, but it's more of a question of what's under the gown. Have you ever seen men and women unclothed? What? You can't ask a lady a question like that. She can, being a lady herself. Of course I haven't. It wouldn't be proper. In paintings or statues perhaps, books of engravings. I would never look at such things. They were admired as beautiful things back in the day, as long as they had small penises. Not even Sylvia de Gaza's The Myriad Ways. It's very famous. Convenient, isn't it, that they sheltered their princess so profoundly? There's nothing unusual about a princess being modest. You'd like to think. Yes, but so much grass that she can't even grasp the point of what we're asking? What point? Oh, for soil's sake. We turn to discover that Dolores is apparently no longer conscious. Still bound, she twists herself part upright to speak. They're trying to find out if you've a tail in front. A what? How long have you been listening? Long enough, Lady Lackey. Why don't we just murder her more? Oh wait, she's tied anyway, isn't she? It's fine. I should have shut your mouth permanently. Oh, then who'd have to take the task your noble hands are too pure to carry? If none of you have the eggs, I'll lift her skirts and see if she's got them on. What? No one is lifting any skirts. It isn't necessary. There are other signs. I am, after all, supposed to be trained to observe. I'm not sure this is something you can really find out without observing it naturally and fluidly, so to speak. I mean, like, if anyone knows another way, I applaud them, or they've got an X-ray machine. I set my preconceptions aside and examined Cassidy closely. She has a slim figure and a narrow waist. Her bosom, while quite modestly endowed, has a feminine shade to it. That much could be achieved by a slender dandy in a corset, but other features are more difficult to alter. Look at her hands. She has long and graceful arms, but small hands. Men's hands are longer in relation. I'm not sure. I'm just looking at her hands and Oscar's hands right now, and her hands look longer. Her chin is smooth and soft and has no hair, and her throat lacks the male bulge. Her voice is... That is your natural voice, isn't it? You're not forcing yourself to speak in a high tone? No. You didn't have your voice mysteriously change a few years ago. No. Well, there you have it. She's a woman. I did tell you that. But you're Caspian. You have to be. Don't you remember me at all? The nursery, you and I. You used to stand on the window seat and point things outside to make me tell you about them. You liked to watch me fire a catapult or spin a top because you couldn't make it go as fast. Who enjoys watching others fire a catapult? You know what, I'm about to make a German joke, so we'll go on. Your favourite toy was a stuffed cloth purple dragon. You used to sleep with it. My favourite toy was a little blue bear that I carried around with me everywhere. I don't remember ever seeing a toy catapult, and I didn't enjoy spinning tops. Mostly, I like dressing up my dolls and having them act out stories. She walks closer and lays her hand on Callum's arm. I'm sorry, but the truth is, Caspian is gone. I'm sorry. He sounds like he was a sweet little boy. I wish I'd known him. I wish I'd known any of you. I was always so lonely growing up. Come on, it's gotta be bullshit. I'm not siding with Oscar on this. Yeah, I'm refusing to believe you're a lady for now, unfortunately. So, you're really Cassidy? I really am. Why does my chest feel strangely heavy when I see the light go out of his eyes? Then everything... It was all for nothing. No. To his evident surprise, she wraps her arms around him, nestling her chin on his shoulder. God, how small is he? Dear God. It meant that we got to be together and talk to each other at last. Otherwise, we would still be strangers. Hug me back? Nobody ever hugs me. Oh, bollocks, no, we don't want to turn on skip mode. Accidentally press Alt-Gram and that fucking happened. Oh dear. Take the mouse out of the window as well. Slowly, cautiously, Callum put his arms around his sister. I don't know why our parents treated you so badly, or why they kept us apart, but it was wrong. But I'm an adult now. They can't lock me away. We can start over. She steps away from him, still smiling. What you did because you loved your brother. That's not wrong. Yeah, really sweet. Fuck off, Dolores. We should have smashed your head in when we had the chance. Now, since we're all loving and forgiving, how about you let me go? Fuck off. No. You're going back to the castle to face trial. I ought to get rid of her right now. It would save trouble. Because I can tell everyone that it was you who attacked Lady Fanting Blossom. Sure, you could kill me so I couldn't talk, but then you'd have to kill Miss Nosy and Prince Simple too, huh? Prince Simple. What? Was that your plan? Of course not. Again, I'm gonna believe Callum. My brother wouldn't do such a terrible thing. You've known him for 5 minutes. Fuck off. No one likes you anyway. She's certainly loyal, forgiving, considering she's more or less just met him, and he kidnapped her. Defend Callum, accuse Callum. If I accuse Callum, we'll be going with Oscar, and we don't want that because he's a wanker. Of course he wasn't planning to kill us. It wouldn't make any sense. He's outnumbered. With 2 on 1, it would be much too likely for one of us to defeat him or escape. If Callum wanted to cover his tracks that way, the smart thing to do would have been to leave Oscar in the castle. Then he could kill Dolores and then kill me, then hide the bodies, and Oscar and Cassidy would never know what happened. Yep, I thought all of this in my head. just before I said defend Callum. That is exactly what I was thinking. I pause, realising that everyone is staring at me. What? Sometimes your mind works in strange ways. I find her logic refreshing. Look at him, hitting on me. What were you planning to do with us then, if Cassidy were Caspian and everything was as you planned? None of this is what I planned, ever since that creature put a stick in the wheel. What wheel? It's an expression, tarju, or whatever the fuck that says. Oh, forgive me, my lord. My years of letters must have slipped my mind again. There is another question. What would you have done with Caspian, if she had been him? Done whatever he wanted. I wanted to tell him about everything he'd missed growing up and help him find his own life again. Helping him to get out of the palace, or prepare him to confront our parents if he wanted. It doesn't matter now. No, it doesn't. We'll go home. We will talk to mother and father. This time they can't brush you aside. I won't let them. I will make them explain what they've done. So you see, it will be all right. Only, can I have some water and something to eat? No, you can't. Of course. What even is there to eat? Like a couple of beetles and berries, really. You didn't feed her? What was I supposed to feed her with? I didn't bring your royal kitchen. What did you eat? She laughs at me. I weren't hungry. I was going to be rich if I were light on my feet. If I wanted, I could eat anything I wanted. If I didn't, well, it wouldn't matter, would it? No, it won't. Oscar, in the meantime, is still looking at Cassidy. What happened to your shoes? I think they're still in the palace. If she went through those tunnels without shoes, we need to wash her feet before she scratches turn foul. There's not going to be any scratches, is there? I don't mean to trouble. You aren't. You are. You're being a massive letdown at the moment to your whole family. Let's get back to the water. There's nothing more to do here. Oh dear. Let's.